Hello, YouTube. Wildcat Piper here. Hope everybody's doing well on this July 4th, 2016. Still in the morning, so the grills probably haven't gotten lit up. Um, Wife and I are going to do some running around here a little bit later today, but I thought I'd come in and have the opportunity to take a little break, smoke a pipe. This is my little panel pipe that I got. It's called a Supreme. Nothing really big or about it special. Um, I like the length of it. It's kind of like a lumberman. I don't know if it's quite as long as a Canadian, but I think if I was ever to have a devil's ants, which I would love to get a devil ants pipe made, it would be a lumberman size, and it would be, the devil ants. I'd like it straight like that. No thrills, no frills, just one that maybe Devil Ants himself would have smoked. That's my next pipe I'd like to buy. Although I've got several coming to me. But anyway, and in it I'm smoking some cherry bomb. I really come to like this cherry blend. It is a very strong cherry flavor in it, but I do like cherry tobacco, so it works for me. Also drinking some coffee, and having a great morning. Wanted to come today a little bit and talk about the United States flag. American flag, I should say. And today in our society, you see people disrespecting the flag, stomping on it, lighting it on fire, shredding it. And it disgusts me. And their excuse is, it's just a piece of cloth. Well, anyone with half a brain knows that it's more than just a piece of cloth. As a matter of fact, the story goes, in the writing of the Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem, Francis Scott Key, who we all know was the author of it, at the time was 35 years old and was a lawyer. This is the year 1814, during the Battle of 1812, and they were now in the Boston Harbor. And Francis Scott Key had gone on to a flagship to negotiate the releasing of some prisoners that were on that ship, one of which was his friend. And he had convinced the captain to let the men go. So he went down and told the men that he had negotiated their release and they would be sent off of the ship. When he went up to talk to the captain called him over and he said, listen, we're still going to hold true to our word, letting this men go, but it doesn't really matter. When Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean it doesn't matter? He said, look out there in the ocean. So Francis Scott Key looks out in the ocean and sees dots of ships all over the harbor coming towards Mount McHenry, Fort McHenry. The entire British fleet was now in the Boston Harbor with their guns pointed towards Fort McHenry. And he said, we have gotten orders to level that place. And Francis Scott Key said, you can't level that place. It's huge. There are women and children It's not really even a fort. And he said, don't worry, there's a way that they can not have this happen to them. We've contacted them and told them that if they would lower the flag that was out on the rampart, if they would lower that flag, then we would know that they're wanting to give in and no longer be a colony, but to fall under British control. So Francis Scott Key describes it that he said that it was like the earth had opened up. This barrage of rockets and bombs and fire had hit that fort. And while they were doing it, Francis Scott Key was down explaining to the men what was going on. And the men said, but what about the flag? What about the flag? And Francis Scott Key went back up and looked, and the flag was still standing. This barrage of fire hitting that fort, the men and the women inside the fort decided not to let that flag fall. When the captain noticed the flag was still standing after this barrage, they ordered the British fleet to aim their cannons towards the rampart. To bring that flag down. And the story is told that for 25 hours, bombs were bursting in the air and bursting on the rampart and bursting on the fort. The men in the bottom of the ship were worried for their family and their friends. And in the morning, when the bombing had subsided, they looked, and there was a mist that had covered from the smoke and the mist in the air. And when it all cleared, they saw the flag pole standing at kind of a cocked angle. And when he got off of the boat and got to the fort, the reason why the flag was cocked at an angle is leaning on the lives of those who gave it to hold that pole up. The flag was badly shredded, but it was still standing. The people had held that flag up with their own bodies, their own lives, and when they were killed, they would pull them away and new people would come in to keep that flag flying. Francis Scott Key sat down and penned this song, our national anthem. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. It's more than just a flag. Since 1812 to this day, men and women have fought to keep that flag flying. And we as a nation need to be highly grateful that that flag is flying. at what cost and at whatever cost it took, they remained strong in flying that flag. So today, as you partake in this great holiday, as you watch shows and you hear the Star-Spangled Banner, remember those men and women at Mount McHenry, at Fort McHenry, who held that flag up so that we today can experience the freedoms and the rights that we have. You all have a great day. Blow some smoke rings in the air, but above all, my friends, be blessed. Talk to you soon.